Okay, hello. I'm sitting here with our school secretary, Miss Gilreath, and I'm so excited to talk to you because you're just amazing, and I love you. Just first of all, how many years have you been here?
This is my 11th year.
Okay. Has each year been different, or
Seems to kind of get in the groove. I mean,
Yeah.
I've learned a lot over the last 10 years for sure.
Definitely. Well, I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about if the county was to post a job and what the description says for your job, and then we'll kind of see if that aligns with what you do.
Okay.
So just a rundown. It says that your responsibilities are to perform secretarial duties, maintain appropriate records, develop a strong communication system among school personnel and between parents and the school, and perform other duties as assigned by the administration. Do you agree with that's about what you do every day?
Yes, ma'am.
Among a lot of other things?
Absolutely.
In reality, what is the hardest part of your job?
I would say just dealing with angry parents. Usually residency issues is the hardest issue. I mean, everything else, I take attendance and, things like that's usually pretty easy. Putting in excuses and doing attendance and, doing regular duties is not hard. It's the angry parents that are being told they're out of district because they've lied. They usually get on the defense, and that's usually the most worrisome that I have to deal with.
Yes, and we talked earlier that you were saying it is against the law.
Absolutely.
And if we just allow them to stay here, then we're breaking the law as well.
Absolutely.
I know you said that they have in the past said that we're racist if we tell them to leave, and talk a little bit about that.
Well, that was what one was this morning. We had 5. There was 15 on a list this year that we had questions about as far as residency.
Wow.
And all of them are not black.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of them are.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just the scenario this year.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what color you are. If you're lying, you're lying.
Right.
And we have to investigate it. If we have a question of their residency, we have to dig in further. And we withdrew 5 Friday.
Mm-hmm.
One parent called and complained and told Miss Ray she was racist, and that she was going to go over our heads and go to the central office, which there again, if she's lying and she's out of district, they're going to back us up because that's the law. Mm-hmm. But she's telling us that we're breaking the law because we're racist and we made her withdraw her child. So there again, she's on the defense.
Right.
If she wasn't lying, she wouldn't be so angry and rude. Once they're found out, a lot of times they're just, okay, we're going to go ahead. Like we had one this morning come in. Mm-hmm. We didn't even know they were on the radar. And the mom came in and said, my housing did not work out. I'm going to withdraw them Friday. They should be back next year. Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
And she said, I don't want to get in trouble. Mm-hmm. And I said, we appreciate you doing the
right
thing. I said, because we got called some names on Friday.
Right.
But for the most part, it's
Don't you wish they were all like that?
I do.
Yes. All right. Well, I know you see a lot of students throughout the day. So how do you think that what you do impacts student learning?
I just want to make a difference in their lives. I see a lot of kids that are in trouble sometimes. I try to encourage them to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. If I can be a voice to make them do the right thing, I want to encourage them. My child himself has lots of issues with behavior, so I have kind of seen the underdogs a lot of times.
Right.
I try to pull for the underdogs, I guess, because I know what my son's been through. But I try to love them and just give them the encouragement that they need.
Definitely. And I know that you've been an advocate for that, and whenever I've had kids,
yes,
you just see them and love on them, and that helps. And you're the first person they see every day most of the time. So
I try to encourage them to do the right thing, because I tell them I check on them, and I do.
You do.
I know one of them for sure, and he's not here anymore, but
yes.
I always tried to make sure he was having a good day and tell him to do the right things for his teachers. So.
For sure, yeah. How have you improved or become more focused on what you do over your tenure over the last 11 years?
Just experience, I guess. Just learning to handle situations and knowing what I've done in the past or what's expected, and just continuing that.
Right. And you said you were kind of thrown into ring a fire at the beginning.
Absolutely. My
No training.
coworker didn't help me much. The counselor was a 1 year. I mean, I got to work with her 1 year, and she did help me a whole lot. Had to call a couple other secretaries just to kind of see what,
Yeah.
because it's very different in school system. I worked in
Mhm.
doctor's offices before.
Okay.
And so, the whole HIPAA and all that, and I already
Mhm.
knew about the privacy and, you
Right.
can't discuss things and all that. I mean, I already knew all that, but I mean, it's just a little more difficult and a little more tricky in the school
In the
system
school.
things. So, a lot of you can't do this or you can't do that.
Right.
So, but
Yeah.
it's been a journey. I love my job. I do. I
Yes.
really love my job. I know God put me here for a reason.
Absolutely. Well, you're awesome at it.
Well, I appreciate that.
What advice would you give somebody starting out as a school secretary?
Just stay positive. Don't let it get overwhelming, because there is light at the end of the tunnel. Like the new middle school secretary, this is her
Mhm.
second year. And
Okay.
I told her, call me.
Yes.
Because there's reports that you have to do that if you don't do
Oh.
that every day,
Mhm.
you don't remember that. I have notes. I have like cheat sheets. And
Yeah.
I have to write down things because if it's something I don't do all the time, it's not going to be fresh in my memory. So
Mhm.
I can go back to my cheat sheet and refer to how I'm supposed to do that.
Mhm.
Especially like the end of year things, we don't do
Oh,
that
yeah.
every day.
Right.
And so I don't want to mess it up,
Yes.
but I told her she doesn't know, and
Yeah.
she didn't have a lot of training because her secretary was already gone.
Oh,
The
yeah.
secretary that she took her place, she was already
Right.
gone, and so the bookkeeper doesn't do a lot
Yeah.
that the secretary does. So
you
I
were
told her
able to
just
help
call
out.
me, and she's called me several times. We've
Good.
shared emails, and
Yeah.
she'll call me and ask me what do I do in certain situations, and so I'm
Mhm.
always glad to help her.
Yes. Well, you're a pro, so
Well, I appreciate
that
it.
helps. Well, that's it. That's all the questions I have. So
Okay.
we'll just stop there. But thank you so
Okay.
much for sitting with me.
You're so welcome.